All right, guys, we're going to do a little bit of change of pace. I know a lot of y'all on the channel are used to the Dragon Ball videos and things like that, guys, but I love football, and the channel was built on games like Madden, and I will continue to do the Dragon Ball content, but this is DM gaming, meaning we cover games. And we are about a year out from NCAA football. Actually, it's called EA Sports College Football 2000. I don't know if it'll be 23 or if they'll call it 24, but it's supposed to be coming out next year. So the same dedication that I gave to Kakarot and covering it every day for a year, I want to give that same dedication to college football. Now, like I said, I'll still be covering the Dragon Ball stuff, don't get me wrong, but I also want to go ahead and start covering college football, guys, because aside from Dragon Ball games, bro, college football, man, this game is gonna slap if they do it right. And so I want to begin a series talking about the game, what I would like to see in the game, and how I feel they could make the game the best game possible. Today it'll just be a rundown of several things, and we'll do breakdown videos in more detail. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, man. It's completely free. It don't cost anything to hit the subscribe button. It ain't like Twitch where you gotta pay. It is completely free. You helping a brother out, so please hit that subscribe button. But anyway, so just a brief rundown of some things that I would really like them to focus on more in the next college football game that is coming out. It's guaranteed to come out. Now, the biggest thing is the transfer portal. This is going to be super interesting to see how they implement the transfer portal in the game. This is a big deal in college football right now, and this is going to be a hit or miss. I mean, you have to put it in there, and it's cool. Some people like it, some people don't. I remember back playing the NCAA games, and I would create a character, and sometimes I would wish that, man, I wish I could transfer schools, because they were able to do it, just not like it is now. So the transfer portal is top. That is the top of the list of something in the game that they're gonna have to get right. Also, recruiting. NCAA 14 had a good recruiting thing, in my opinion. There's always room for improvement, but you have several different factors to implement now, including the whole transfer portal. And something, I don't want to get ahead of myself, guys, but they're gonna have to do some things. They gotta do some special things there, man. But tune into that transfer portal. It's gonna be the first video that we do, because I got a lot to talk about with that. Also, the new licensing deals, the NIL deals and things like that, allowing the players to get brand deals and sponsorships, things like that from their likeness. You know, they've always done like that single player game mode and the road to glory. It would be really, really dope if they implement like different brands approaching you for sponsorship deals and things of that effect. Similar to 2K, like how they do their basketball games. You can get shoe deals and brand deals, Gatorade sponsorships, things like that. It is going to be really interesting if they implement that into the game. That is going to add to the realism that if you balling out on the field, you know, not only are you competing for draft stock, competing for playing time, competing for awards and wins and that championship, but also being rewarded with brands approaching you for sponsorships. Now, the only issue with that is, what are you going to do with that money? You get what I'm saying? Maybe they can have it to where you could pay for some extra training. I don't know. We'll get into that kind of stuff later, but that's definitely number 2 on the list, is the new licensing thing, allowing the players to get paid. 3rd on the list would have to be recruiting. I'm very interested to see how they will do recruiting, and like I said, based off the 2 previous things, you know, recruiting is gonna have to be revamped, because one thing people don't realize with the NIL agreements and stuff like that in college football is that, and the transfer portal of all things, is that now colleges don't look to the high schools for players first. First place they're going to look is the transfer portal. But everybody remembers NCAA 14, and at the end of the season, you always had players that were transferring to your school. It wasn't something that you competed for or anything of that nature. You just had players that was transferring. Once they transferred in, they automatically had to sit out a year, but that's going to be a little bit different. So I wonder how that's going to play into recruiting. Say you're recruiting a running back, but there's another running back in the transfer portal that pops up in the transfer portal or something to that effect. And it would be really cool if they kind of give these recruits kind of like AI intelligence as to what's going on with your recruiting and stuff like that. Like, hey, I see you recruiting another 5-star running back. I think I'm gonna go to this other school, or hey, I'm gonna stick around and compete. Things like that. Give us that runs into the next thing. Scenarios. Give us scenarios throughout the season. Things happen in college football. Players act up. Grades. Those are just a very real thing. You know, give us some scenarios to throw some loops in there. You know what I'm saying? I think that would be really, really cool. Like that used to be in the game where player discipline, if their discipline weren't good, they weren't making good grades and stuff like that, they would fail and be ineligible or something. They get in trouble and be ineligible. Let that be a thing. Like, you can get this superstar kid, but he's not very disciplined. And so he kind of gets into trouble, misses practice, and maybe make his stats drop or something like that, or be ineligible for a game. And have the school, depending on the school and your program, hey, what if you had a resource center where you can upgrade these players' discipline to where they are more disciplined? I think that would be crazy dope, man. Like, that just adds to the realism of the game. That just adds to the fulfillment of the game. It makes it a lot more realistic because these things happen in college football all the time. Picture going against your rival and you find out that their starting wide receiver is out, for whatever reason and stuff like that. And then the bowl games, the playoffs, the biggest thing I think they need to add is give us even though the playoffs are only 4 teams, give us the ability to make it more teams. I remember they used to do that you could select, and this was on the PlayStation 2 days, where you could select a playoff system, or you can just do the bowl system. And when you did the playoff system, it was more than just 4 teams. And that was really, really cool because you also had those subdivision teams, which, guys, is PlayStation 5, next generation. Like, I think we need to have those subdivision teams in there as well. Like, if you don't want to play with the Power 5 schools, you could play with some of the smaller schools, the championship series schools and stuff like that, or the bowl series and stuff. So, guys, this is going to be really fun. This is going to be really in-depth, and it's going to be really enjoyable. Please tune in for the ride, guys, because we are about to take off. Till next time, y'all, thanks for watching. Have the best day you can.